Hey, Tommy from the Run Testers. In this video, I'm going to be doing a full review of the Asics Trabuco Max 3 trail running shoe. These were sent to me from the guys over at Sport Shoes. I'm not paid to do this review. I can say whatever I want, but a big thanks to them for getting these over so that I can do some videos on this shoe. If you go down to the caption below, you can also find a link to this shoe on their website where you can find out more about it. Right, let's dive in and do the review. The Asics Trabuco Max 3 costs £160 or $160. It weighs 302 grams or 10.7 ounces for men in a size 8, and the drop is 5mm. The Asics Trabuco Max 3 is a trail shoe designed for cushioning and comfort when heading off-road. That's mainly due to the thick stack of FFBlast midsole foam, the same used in many of the brand's cushioned road shoes, to provide a soft yet responsive feel. There's also a generous layer of ASICSGRIP outsole rubber to tackle tricky terrain and wet weather, as well as provide protection for the midsole foam to ensure durability. Other features include the brand's guide sole technologies to produce a smooth ride, a sturdy technical mesh upper designed to provide support while still allowing for a good level of breathability, and smart lace loops so you can tuck your laces away from snagging on objects. So the fit for me in the Trabuco Max 3, this is a very comfortable shoe. There's plenty of room in the forefoot. For a trail shoe, you probably want a little bit of extra space in the shoe so that when you're running over the long distances of trails and your feet swell up, there's a bit of extra space. I think this is absolutely fine for this. I found it to be an incredibly comfortable shoe. Right off the bat, I went for a really long run in it. I think I did about 30k on the first run in this, and it was absolutely fine. Felt very, very comfortable from the off, and I would definitely stick to my UK size 8 in this shoe. Also found it's nice and easy to get a lockdown fit. There's lots of padding in the shoe. It's a nice plush shoe for a trail shoe. So yeah, I'd stay to my size in it. Okay, so I've done about 70k in this shoe so far, and that has mainly been longer runs. So runs over like 25 kilometers over the trails. I've not been running fast, particularly in this shoe. It's generally been running around my base pace, especially for trails, which is about 5 minutes per kilometre. And the runs that I've been doing have been across the South Downs, so they've been a mix of rocky inclines, muddy fields, public footpaths, gravel paths, all these sorts of things. And predominantly it's been in quite wet conditions because it's been very wet on the downs, but we have been lucky a couple of times and done a drier run in this shoe. And what I would say about it is that I really, really like this shoe. It's just really enjoyable, comfortable shoe that you can use for a lot of different runs. There's a lot of stack in this shoe. It's really a chunky shoe that has a really thick layer of this FFBlast Plus midsole foam. And sometimes that can be a bit risky. When brands create these trail shoes that have a really big stack, it can mean that they become more unstable. It can mean that they're a bit of a risky shoe to use if you're running over uneven terrain, and sometimes it doesn't work. Whereas this shoe, even though it has this really big stack, it's a pretty well balanced midsole foam. It's quite wide. It's relatively soft for a trail shoe, but also it's not that unstable. So it really does a good job. And I've not had any issues where I was worried that I was going to fall over in this shoe, or I didn't have the traction that I needed, or lack of stability. And the runs that I did have been, as I mentioned, across varied terrain. I've had no problems at all across that terrain. I found it to be just really, really comfortable. Also, the outsole on it, sometimes when you get these big cushion trail shoes, the outsole is more of a road outsole as opposed to a trail outsole. This outsole is fantastic. The lugs aren't massive, but even running on wet mud and various other surfaces, it's very, very good. I did find it could really hold its own. Sometimes on the trails I was hitting some very, very thick mud, and it's probably not best designed for those. You're looking at maybe a mud claw or something from Innovate for tackling some of the British muddy fields and wet weather over the winter, but for this it's absolutely fine for most of the stuff that I was running on. So I'm very impressed with the grip. It's very sticky as well. It's a really nice ASICSGRIP rubber, which just feels like it just is very sticky on rocky surfaces as well, so it's very, very secure on the ground. So for those longer sessions, and as I mentioned, I've been running over 25k in this year because I've been doing marathon training for Boston recently. It's just really, really comfortable, especially on the harder ground. So it really excels when you're hitting those harder footpaths, the rockier sections where you're doing longer distance on those, and you want something that delivers a little bit like a road shoe. So it's giving you a lot more cushioning, it's giving you a lot more protection, but it's not stopping you from running at a nice consistent pace. It's that midsole foam, it just delivers a really nice smooth action for when you're running, so it's a nice consistent feeling shoe, but it also feels pretty natural as well. There's nothing in here that's particularly providing any propulsion or anything. It's just a very high stacked comfortable shoe, which just really does tick the boxes when you're looking for a solid trail shoe that can cover lots of different surfaces. It's a good option for road to trail. I think one of the things that this shoe is probably best for is those drier, rocky tracks, probably the ones that you're going to get over in America, where it is a little bit like the road. It's going to be a bit harder, and you just want something that's really going to protect the legs and feel comfortable for very long distance runs. This would be absolutely perfect for that. It's probably less impressive on the British muddy, wet ground, but that's a problem we have when we're testing trail shoes, because that's all we've really got a lot of the time over in the UK. But on those harder surfaces, it's absolutely great, and I think it's a fantastic road to trail shoe as well. If I was going to do something like Race to the Stones in the UK, which is about half on trails and half on road sections, this would be a really nice shoe for it, because it delivers like a road shoe in a lot of ways, like a max cushion road shoe, which is my favourite sort of road shoe. But when you get onto the trails, you do have enough trail elements in this to really feel like it can tackle that varied terrain, unless you get into the really wet, muddy sections. So overall, I've been really impressed with it. I think it's a really solid, comfortable trail shoe for those looking for something that's got a big bet stack on it, and like a lot of cushioning. And it's one of my favourite trail shoes at the moment, to be honest. So my verdict on the Asics Trabuco Max 3, I really like this shoe. I think it really does everything it says it should do on the tin, which is that sort of comfortable trail running for longer distances where you want nice bit of cushioning. It manages to not have some of the issues that other shoes have in the trail world, where there's a big stack on some trail shoes, where it can actually lose stability. I think there's a good lot of stability in this shoe, despite the fact that it's got this massive midsole stack. I think it is a pretty versatile shoe. I think you can use it for road to trail. I think you can use it off rocky terrain. I think it's okay on wetter surfaces and fields and things like that, although it's not the best thing it's used for. I think there probably are better shoes for things like that. A lot of stuff from Innovate is very good at dealing with mud, but when you're looking at those drier terrains where you're running for a long distance and you want similar feeling that you get from road shoes that have a lot of cushioning in them, it does a fantastic job of that. I really enjoyed running this over the runs that I've been doing in it. It just feels like a very comfortable, nice rolling cruiser that you can just not worry about on your feet. It feels very natural, and it can just tackle those road to trail sections as well really comfortably. Very much enjoyed it, and I think the grip is really good as well. So overall, very impressed with this shoe. If you're the type of trail runner that wants a cushioned experience from your trail shoes, this is a very good option, and doesn't lose anything by having a lot of stack in it, which is a big plus point for me, because a lot of time I do test trail shoes and I want more cushioning in them. That's it for me on this review of the Asics Trabuco Max 3. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the little bell. And if you go into the caption below, you can find a link to these on the Sports Shoe website, where you can find out a bit more. You can also find a link to our podcast, which comes out at the end of each month. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you next time.